Welcome. This is the Amateur Fanboy YouTube channel, and we are doing a 7-round Cowboys mock draft. My name is Mike Taza, and we have
Chase Aguirre. What's going
and
on,
with
guys?
that, if you hadn't checked it out, we had done I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 round mock draft for the Cowboys. We ended up getting a lot of players, and then for technical issues, it crashed. We're still posting that. This is a full 7-rounder.
Yeah.
So, things might change. Kyle Pitts might be gone. Sertan might be gone.
Oh, I guarantee you Kyle Pitts will be gone in this situation. I'm already ready for it.
Kyle Pitts is already gone. Okay, this is good. Both guys are gone. This is really
a
good.
situation I don't
Justin
like as
Fields
much.
is falling.
You should not have gotten out of the trades.
Oh, we're not doing trades.
Because this is a scenario where the Cowboys would
be
looking at trading down.
Yeah, so Slater's there.
I don't hate Slater here.
Horn is there.
I don't hate Slater
Micah
here.
Parsons is there, and so is JOK.
If I were the Cowboys in this situation,
I would take Slater.
I would take Slater. But
I think that's still a possibility.
I would not be mad if they took J.C. Horn, because I think corner is so important. But I think there's some corners in the second and third round that I would like more than some of the offensive tackles. So
the thing is, though, is that drafting Kyle Pitts is a luxury because you do have a decent startable tight end.
Right.
So Slater's going to end up being a starter because if you draft him, you're basically putting to Tyrone Smith saying, hey, you're too expensive. You're not really healthy all the time.
Well, he will not.
You will play this season. You might not be on our team next season.
No,
Slater can be your sixth. Can be your sixth offensive tackle. If there's an injury, he could play any position on the line.
It gives you the benefit if Tyron Smith goes down, but absolutely Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins, all the guys that started when they were healthy last year are starting. They will find ways to work him in, and if someone gets hurt,
I'm not too worried
started.
where you're gonna look. At the end of the day, it's so hard to find good offensive tackles. Yes. I'm not. He's gonna be on a cheap 5-year deal. I'm not too worried where he's gonna be playing if he's not starting the season. I think he's a starter next season.
No, I agree.
So we'll go with Slater there. I think it's a great decision. Look, this is worst case scenario in my opinion, and you still end up with a really great tackle.
So we got the great scenario in that 4 rounds, and then this one's actually gonna be 7 rounds.
Okay. Farley's just still there. He just went.
See, Farley would have been great here, and I do not like a lot of what's going on here.
Yeah, this is Stokes is there. I'm okay with Stokes. Asante Samuel.
Now,
I like Stokes more.
Can I lay out some guys first, please?
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at this board right now, I don't want nose tackle this early. So Ozarike is probably out of it for me. The guys that stand out to me are Stokes, Boogie Basham, as well as Asante Samuel Jr. If I'm looking at this spot, considering we took offensive tackle in the first round, I think you have to take a corner in the first 2 rounds.
I agree.
So I'm
and also Jabril Cox is there. I think he's.
I'm really tempted to take Boogie Basham here. I really am, but
you're really pushing it down the line. We can do it.
But I'm gonna go ahead. I would go ahead and take Stokes here.
I agree with you because I think Stokes is as good as.
Calvin Joseph.
Asante Samuel is probably the best player available, but he's strictly slot.
Yeah.
Especially in your scheme, where you typically want a little more ranged, bigger guys playing the corner position.
Yes.
I'm happy with Stokes, though.
I'm happy with Stokes as well.
So next we'll see what happens. Different draft than the last one.
No, way different.
Which I'm okay with. Because this is scenarios that we just never.
I will say there is a couple guys I like at this spot, and I wish I had.
Aaron Robinson is there. I would have been fine with us taking a different player and taking him here.
I would not have been mad at taking maybe Jalen Waddle at 10 now, knowing that Landon Dickerson is sitting right there at 75. But that's obviously,
Landon Dickerson
out of Alabama, I think he's going to be a stud.
Where are you playing him? Center, guard?
He can play any. They say he can play any position.
I'd like to stick him interior because I'd probably take Walker Little if you want just a strict offensive tackle. Dickerson, I think, is going to be good, but more of an interior guy in my opinion.
So you probably like a center. I
would take him. At center.
I mean, Biotish. If Biotish doesn't work out, I wouldn't hate it. But
Walker's there.
Honestly, what I'm looking at right now, we've taken Slater and we've taken cornerback. So what I'm probably trying to do here.
Oh, we already got an offensive tackle. I forgot.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm
You
trying
want
to
to look
do
at a specific
here.
position?
Let's look at the edge. Edge and linebackers.
Come on, my dude. Here we go.
Edge. Not many edge that I really want to take at this spot. Go to linebacker. Oof. It might be a little bit of a reach to take McGrone here.
You want to look at defensive tackle?
No, let's go look at safety. You know what? All right. I'm okay with reaching a little here. I know he's not very good at tackling. He needs to learn how to tackle. But Jamar Johnson, safety at Indiana, I think would be my pick here.
Okay, I'm okay with it here. I don't think it's a reach. This is typically where I think he's going to go.
I would prefer him to closer to 99, maybe trading up a little bit if we needed to, if he fell a little bit. Personally, I probably wouldn't trade up for him. He's probably not one of the safeties I would trade up for. And I love Ardarius Washington, and I'm going to hate if he falls, but then again, maybe not, because I'm able to double dip at safety. So we're gonna go Jamar Johnson here.
Okay, that's fine with me.
And if Ardarius Washington falls to 99, oh yeah, absolutely.
Who do you want?
Go to safety.
You're gonna pick going back to back on safety.
We're gonna go back to back on safeties. Actually, look at linebacker real quick. Just see if
Tony Fields is there. I'm okay with him here.
I'm not a huge Tony Fields fan.
All right.
Go to edge. Yeah, I'm thinking the Cowboys would probably be looking to double dip at safety here.
Really?
I would probably go Ardarius Washington here at this spot.
Okay, I'm okay with Ardarius. I don't know if I would double dip.
I don't think you can have too many safeties.
I would probably rather get another corner.
Now, let's go to all.
No, let's see. You do need a defensive tackle. You need an edge guy.
I like D tackle. This is where I'm starting to consider like the non-Elaine McNeil's, the non.
Wow, two dudes Marvin, ranked this high. I thought for me he's a 7th round guy.
Oh well, different mocks are different.
Sure.
Different whatevers, but here I'm probably looking at either Milton Williams or it's really. I guess Patrick Jones is starting to get into that area where I would consider him here. I'm not a huge fan of his, but
I mean, you could also get the tight end position still as well.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go ahead and take Milton Williams here. I think he's good value here.
All right.
So far we have taken Slater. We've taken 2 safeties, right?
We took Slater. We took the corner in the second. We
took Eric Stokes, and then we took
2 safeties, and then we took defensive tackle.
So far right now I would be looking at.
I probably would have, if that first safety that we took, I think I would have switched it out for a linebacker, because at this point you're getting guys who are trying to make the team, not necessarily have any impact.
Well, I agree to disagree. I think this is a very deep safety draft, and I think a lot of these guys are going to be able to start pretty soon. Maybe not right away, but within 6-7 games into the year.
So are we looking,
if they're good enough?
Now are we looking? Weirdly enough, Sean Wade here is a good pick.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of guys here at the edge position.
This is where I would be looking at.
There's not a
Jalen Darden, wide receiver from North Texas. I like him a lot. I'd be looking at Bobby Brown, maybe double dipping at defensive tackle.
I don't know if I would double down.
I don't know that I would either.
I would take an edge guy.
You know what? I would.
Or the receiver.
To be honest, I've never heard of the edge from Notre Dame. It looks like a made up name.
You want me to look?
That looks like a made up name to me. I've watched some.
His analyst was terrific defender for Notre Dame.
I was looking at the other one from Notre Dame, number 144 there. I didn't even see.
Oh, there's 2 guys. Yeah, this guy and they're edge guys.
Let's look at Dalen Hayes. Let's look at Dalen Hayes and see what he's got. This special can get used at standing tackle. Okay. Hayes lacks great bulk. Well, that's not good. Gets out of position.
Well, this is what these guys are. They're going in this position because there's something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, there's wrong with a lot. Yeah. I mean, I would probably just go with the best edge player, and that's Hayes. Take the best one on the board.
This is stuff that gets a little tougher because a lot of these players, there's a lot of guys that we just haven't scouted.
Yeah. we're reaching dark day territory of guys that there'll be a couple guys who was like, oh, I've heard of that guy, but I thought like just from the name, but oof,
Days Newsom's the guy I like here.
Days Newsome, yeah, Daz Newsome.
There's Derek Barnes as well.
I also don't
linebacker Purdue.
I also don't hate McKitty here. If we wanted to take a tight end, I know Kyle Pitts is the dream, but we don't really need a tight end, so maybe not. I would probably take Daz Newsome here. That's probably where I would go. But I would be tempted to look at defensive tackle again. I still think they could take 2 defensive tackles in this draft. But here's where I think Derek Barnes would be a
that was good.
pick.
He fell.
It was good. He fell, and I think he would be the pick there, and that's where they would go linebacker there. And then so far, I think the only position you really need to target is maybe.
I'm taking another offensive line and
maybe
another corner.
I would say maybe another corner.
You can take your corner here, your center. Sorry.
Jonathan
Cooper's a good spot as well.
Honestly, the guys I'm looking at here are Cooper, Rumpf, and Griffin. I'm probably giving the edge, no pun intended, to Cooper from Ohio State. I think you got it. Bad
joke there.
Yeah, bad joke there. I think you got to take at least. If there's 2 positions that if the Cowboys take 2 of, I won't be mad at, and that's linebacker and edge. I think that I don't think you need to take a ton of safeties. I think you could be fine with 1 safety and 1 corner because you got Diggs, you got Jordan Lewis, you got Donovan Wilson at safety. Linebacker is what scares me with Jalen's seeing whether he fits this.
Even Van Der Esch.
And Van Der Esch is as what I was going to say with his injury history. So I would probably lean Jonathan Cooper here at pick number 6 pick number 7, 6th round.
And here we are.
And this would be
the last pick or what?
The last pick, and the fact that he fell makes me want to take him, and I'm going to take him. Olajay Griffin out of USC. I like him there.
And we'll be able to see all our picks here if there's not one more. I don't think there's any. Okay, so.
I wish I did grades on this one, but anyways.
We got Slater. Well, I mean, grades don't really matter. It's just
I know. But you got your offensive tackle, you got your corner, you got 2 cornerbacks, 2 edge rushers.
I don't like the safety back to back though.
The only reason I would have preferred, if I'm being honest, just taking Ardarius Washington at 75. I don't care where they had him. I think Ardarius Washington's a stud. I would have probably should have just taken him over Jamar Johnson. I like them both, but I would have just taken Ardarius Washington 75 and probably have tried to take maybe an edge at where we took Ardarius Washington. But I mean, for the most part, I like this draft a lot.
It's like an all right. I think our last mock was a little better because
everything was falling the right way.
I think we have 2 starters here and potentially a starter down the line in Jamar Johnson and even Ardarius Washington.
I would say there's probably 3 guys that make an impact on day 1 for the Cowboys.
Which ones?
Slater, Stokes, and Ardarius Washington. I'm very curious Jamar Johnson could be the 4th. The other guys are the guys.
Milt Williams might be able to get because a lot of these guys on the D line are kind of out of fit for the scheme. He might be able to gain a role fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Especially since you guys spend like a 3rd round pick on a couple defensive tackles past few years.
Yeah, we Neville Gallimore and Tristan Hill.
So those guys haven't panned out, right?
No, they haven't gotten a chance yet. Tristan Hill hasn't really played much. Neither has Neville Gallimore.
He's been on the team for 2 years, right?
Yeah, but they haven't really played because they've had other guys.
Well, they continue to change the scheme. I mean, this is the 3rd year that we went from a Tampa 2 to a 3-4 back to a 4-3.
I really like Tristan Hill and Neville Gallimore to step up this year, but I mean, you still got to add some more depth there. Brent Urban will help.
I mean, you bring somebody just in case who they can't.
Yeah.
Take the role. You give it to some, hopefully
the thing is, and
somebody comes up on top.
And I've been listening to more and more Cowboys insiders, and the thing with the Cowboys is what they do is they get a bunch of guys, they put the guys in, and they basically see how they produce, and they want them. Basically, how they do it is they want guys for cheap and guys that they can plug in and guys that will fit a certain role. They don't
You talking about free agency?
Free agency and the draft.
Okay.
Basically,
I mean that's every team. With,
but you know what?
Draft.
What I basically mean is they take guys.
They're trying to get value.
That they're trying to get value out of. They're not like.
Yeah, they get a guy. They get like Robert Quinn.
That's why
they'll produce, and then they don't re-sign him and let him move to another team. Those are how good teams operate.
Exactly.
You go get undervalued guys. You get maximum value. You let somebody else pay them.
And that's why the Cowboys don't pay guys like they're not. That's why you're not going to see the big paid edge rushers and corners on this team because they're
looking for value.
I mean, Byron Jones is one now.
If we're looking at their how their caps and the contracts, they really shouldn't pay people from free agency because they're putting what they value, which is their draft picks, and they're giving those people the extensions. Might be a little late or a little early. They don't I don't know if they've done it. They've re-signed people when it was the correct time. They've given Zeke his money early, and then they pay Dak very late, and then they'll give Jalen Smith a contract really early when they didn't necessarily need to, and then they'll hold out on they'll let Amari Cooper hit free agency and then re-sign him. It's quite interesting to see how they kind of operate.
Now, Mike, I'm not what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not disagreeing with you, but the Cowboys have operated like this for a while, and they've been very successful doing it.
I mean, sure, but they haven't. They competed very much.
They were competitive every year. Tony Romo was the quarterback.
Sure.
And the only reason they didn't.
That was a while ago, though.
I'm just saying, It's not like they finished last in the division multiple years in a row.
Sure, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I know.
I'm super on it. They have done a great job with signing free agents. I just think when they re-sign their own, they're either really late to the game or really early. They're not giving these guys. I'm okay with early. It's better to be early signing these guys before they become stars because you get them on a cheaper deal, or at least you think they are. But if they don't produce and hit, then you start getting. You got Jimmy Smith on a big ass contract and he's not worth it. You got Zeke who's potentially
Jalen Smith, but
whatever. Zeke, I don't think he's worth what he's getting paid. He better prove it because
I think there's a lot of guys in the league that aren't worth what they're getting.
Sure,
paid.
I mean, but. I think it's also because I don't necessarily like the running back position necessarily. I'm okay with Aaron Jones getting paid because it's really a 2-year contract at $10 million a piece. It's a lot of fluff at the end. But Zeke came out and Zeke's agent did work and he got the Cowboys to give every little thing to him.
At the end of the day, I am a Cowboys fan first and foremost, but I'm pro player. I think Zeke deserved to get paid. You ran him like the workhorse he was, and he balled out for you. He deserved to get paid. Whether he ends up being that same player the next 2 or 3 years, I'm not saying that you should do that. But what I'm saying is, at the time when Zeke got paid, he was still the best running back in the league.
Yeah, so that's fine. He's only 25.
He's only 25, and I still think when the team has a healthy offensive line and Dak is there, he's still one of the top 3-4 running backs in the league.
I do think.
So I'm
a believer. I'd rather let someone else pay my running back than
that's fine.
Because at some point, if you see based off of historical data on running backs in the past 20 years,
I'll put it to you this way.
Hold on.
Okay, go for it.
At some point, the reason you cut them is because the production falls off within 2 years of that contract, and then you're kind of trying to get out of it.
Now, what I will tell you is the Cowboys are the team that had Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was the guy that never. I'm just saying, there's running backs that end up being guys that are studs for into their 30s. There are guys like that. Zeke looked like a guy that could be good. I mean,
we still got 5 years for Zeke to get there. He needs another contract.
I'm just
by then. I understand.
All I am saying is, if you had let Zeke, I'm not saying you let Zeke walk, but if you had let Zeke walk, say he goes and signs with the Packers or whatever, and then he destroys you in the playoffs, you regret that forever and ever. I'm just saying I would rather sign. There's some guys I would rather sign, take what happens and go from there. Like just like if it ends up being a mistake, it ends up being a mistake. Not every signing you make is going to whatever, but you take the chance. There's always
I
chances.
think there's only been 2 players in the past, at least this decade, that have. I think it's Frank Gore and Adrian Peterson are the only ones who have lasted. Oh no, sorry, LaShawn McCoy also as well. They have lasted into their 30s, and Frank Gore is like the only one that's lasted almost to his 40s.
Right.
The position is. Look, if I had a son and he says, "Hey," well, I have sons, but if he played football and he was like, "Hey, I want to be a running back," and I'm like, maybe think about playing a different position,
Wide receiver, quarterback,
literally any other position.
Yeah, pretty much any other position. Yeah, you're right.
So
again,
the league's changing,
I'm not saying it's not. But
it's more of that you can find value, especially a lot of these schemes. You plug in a guy who has speed. It's a one-cut offense. And they're able to just eat it up and be successful right off the bat. Undrafted players, we just see it year in, year out.
So then I got to ask, what do you think? Because the Titans paid Derrick Henry, right, already?
Yes.
So what do you think about the Titans paying Derrick Henry?
I wouldn't have done it.
You wouldn't have done it?
No.
See, I love Zeke, and
there's only a couple running.
And I will say that I would have paid him most likely 9 times out of 10. But Derrick Henry is a guy that I would not have paid.
He's going to fall off at some point. It might not be right now.
The dude is built in a way, and the way he runs to where he reminds me a lot of Bo Jackson. I'm not rooting for a dude to get hurt or to get an injury, but he seems like he's going to get a bad injury soon.
And he'll be done.
And he will be done.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think Zeke
I wouldn't have paid him.
is a guy.
I wouldn't have paid Christian McCaffrey.
Especially Christian McCaffrey. Zeke is the prototypical back. He's not a huge guy that runs a certain way. He's not a speedy guy that can make a wrong cut. He's a guy that runs up the middle and just runs forward, and he doesn't take a lot of big hits. And that's why him and Aaron Jones are guys that I would pay. I think they're that good.
In that scheme, though, in the Packers scheme, I wouldn't have paid Aaron Jones. But they also didn't pay him that much.
Maybe I showed my bias a little bit by saying I wouldn't pay
Aaron Jones is also making like $6.5 million less than Zeke.
And again, the Packers, I mean, his market must not have been good because
he didn't even hit free agency. He signed before free agency.
No, and I understand that, but I'm saying
he would have no. If
market
of
teams probably trying to get him probably was.
I think he would have hit. I think he's buying into they're going to make a run at the Super
and that
Bowl.
might be it too.
Which makes no sense on the Packers end because they draft a running back in the second round.
He didn't want to get paid a shit ton of money by like the Jets or some team that.
Well, his contract's fluff. It's really a 2-year deal worth about $10 million each season.
I will say I think the next deal the Cowboys give to a player of skill, whether that be I won't say Dak, but we kind of learned from the Dak deal. It's you got the voidable years. You got a lot.
I mean, that's always kind of been there.
They really can get out of Dak's deal in a year or two if they really wanted to.
Don't think so.
Yeah.
Not in a year or two. I think it's like 3 years in.
No, I think it's 2 years.
I think they still have pretty good. We'll talk about this. We'll end this one, but yes. I appreciate you guys. Keep out. We're going to continue to do these things. It's a fun little experiment, kind of just seeing where players go, and then we could put that and use it towards the draft and seeing where players got picked, if we were right on certain players. So we appreciate the talk, and if you like our content where we're kind of discussing, arguing, and in a debate, take a look out. We do this all the time. We argue about a lot of things.
That's why we're called the Amateur Fanboy Podcast. We're at the end of the day, we're all fanboys of our teams, and we try to be unbiased. But sometimes it doesn't work that way.
I don't think I've ever seen you not be biased.
I can be unbiased. Look at some of the interviews I've done. I can be unbiased.
All right, guys. With that, have a good one.
Have a good one, guys.